Now we're devoting the next section of the programme to coverage of the BFG Army Families Federation Conference, which has just taken place in Hereford.
Housing, education, childcare, the NAFI and the ARC move. They were all prominent topics for debate. Julie Knox and Annie Haresign take us through it now.
Yes, welcome along to this year's conference, a chance when wives and welfare people get to put their burning issues to the chain of command.
So let's get straight into the debate as I sat in on the morning session.
Opening proceedings at this year's event in Hereford was Germany Director Catherine Spencer, who outlined the challenges families based in Germany face on a daily basis. The AFF conference is a must attend, not just for dependents, but all those working for organisations connected with the care of our soldiers and families here in BFG. It's their chance to ask the people at the top for the answers and find out how much the AFF have been campaigning on their behalf.
In terms of our profile for marketing, it's a fantastic opportunity to advertise to BFG and across the world exactly what we do as a federation, to show people that we communicate with the chain of command and to show them that they can communicate through us, through our coordinators, through some of the ladies asking the questions today, or indeed through events like the Army Families Federation Conference.
Adjutant General Lieutenant General Bill Rollo and GOC UKSC Major General Mungo Melvin both echoed the issues concerning families such as housing, conditions and pay, education, resettlement and health. But it was in the first open forum on childcare and employment that the conference came alive with a stream of questions.
Well, it's been a really exciting morning. I think probably not a lot of surprises for Army Families Federation. We're fully aware that childcare is an issue across BFG, so lots of passion about the lack of childcare and lack of comprehensive childcare available over the holidays and before and after childcare. And really, we didn't touch on many of the employment issues because I think childcare was such a phenomenal issue. But obviously, if there was more childcare, then employment would become more of an issue as well.
The second and final forum of the morning session looked at health and education. Director of BFG's Health Service, Brigadier John Graham, and Director of Children's Services, Linda Fisher, joined the panel. Deputy Chief of Staff from UK Support Command, Colonel Peter McGuigan, was on the receiving end during both open forums. He says it's good to hear our families' concerns during the AFF conference, but problems and complaints should be raised locally as soon as they occur.
I get the impression people were saving them up for a public occasion to bring them out. Unacceptable behaviour in various parts of the system. Frankly, people need to get used to complaining. Things get better by complaining. They don't get better by sitting around doing nothing. So hats off to all the delegates who've come here and are actually having a rare old go and letting us know exactly what they think.
Yes, we've just been enjoying a quick nappy break, just like these soldiers were back in 1942.
And people still have plenty to say about the firm, so much so that an entire forum of the afternoon was devoted to airing your gripes about NAFI. I sat in. It probably wasn't the sandwiches, cold samosas and custard creams he laid on for lunch before the session which satisfied the delegates. Rather, it was the new NAFI CEO's humble pie.
If we were the NAFI of old, where we were very complacent and arrogant, I don't think we would have liked to have come and had a grilling, and we would have actually been very defensive in our style. And what I'm trying to do is to understand what are the important issues and address them.
What about extortionate charges for using your card in a machine to withdraw some cash at the NAFI?
Yeah, it's something that I think we've put a stop to so far. If there's any more of it going on, I want to know about it, because we just shouldn't do that.
Well, in Senelager, I think you get charged €2.50 to make a withdrawal.
Right, well, we shouldn't happen. There's no point in that.
That will end?
It will has to end, yeah.
When?
Good question. I don't know.
Mr Curtis cited recent improvements like the cut in magazine prices in store and says the firm's next mission is to be able to sell British newspapers abroad at their UK cover price with no markup. Euro conversion rates on goods, he promises, are getting fairer too. He even encouraged people to go to the cheaper local supermarkets and use NAFI to complement your weekly shop, to add the taste of home. For people who have no choice, by which I mean the service community posted to places where there is no other shop, you also apologise that wives have to send shower gel out to their husbands on deployment.
Yeah, well, one of the things I would add that makes our life really difficult, and I know nobody wants to hear about how difficult life is for NAFI, But one of the problems we have is that we don't have any electronic point of sale in theatre, so it's really difficult for us to know what's selling.
The day recognised those who put their all into the communities they serve, with Captain Colin Johnson of 1 Close Support Medical Regiment getting the Unit Welfare Office of the Year award, and Denise Simpson, a SAFA health visitor who's contributed so much more, being wished well on her retirement in New Zealand. Conference was briefed on the upcoming move of the HQ Allied Rapid Reaction Corps, codenamed Ark Odyssey, the journey home. The move slots in after the upcoming commitment to be NATO's quick reaction force and before 2011's deployment to Afghanistan. How prepared Imgen Barracks at Innsworth and its accompanying infrastructure is to receive a contingent of continental migrants who need housing, schools provision and all that was discussed. There were queries on allowances and a bugbear with the mail again. Major General Mungo Melvin called BFPO a nightmare, related his own personal annoyance at retailers not recognising our unusual postcodes, and said Forces postal problems were something his people in UK Support Command have to crack. So, plenty for people to take back to their patch.
With the morning session over, I'm now joined by some of the delegates who asked some of the questions. Catherine, you're based in Munster. What did you have to say?
I was asking a question about childcare, which is not particularly good in BFG. We're a very individual community in the fact that we don't have grandparents, extended families to help look after our children. And the nursery care isn't really good enough, especially for people doing professional jobs or longer hours. Our nursery is only open between 9 and 3, but still charges a lot per hour. And so me and some of the other girls from Munster really wanted to push this issue about why our childcare was basically inadequate.
I'm also joined by Wendy, who's based down in 20 Brigade in Paderborn. Wendy, what did you ask today?
Mine was actually, as with the hospitals, why can't we integrate the German system, German childcare system with the British childcare system and get more of a liaison going, very much like we do with the hospitals, and get some contracts going, because they do have some amazing facilities ranging from sort of the field and outdoor activity-based nurseries to the more in-school type thing. And I know that there are slightly different age ranges, and with the Ofsted, we can't Ofsted those schools. However, you know, they're not just 5-year-olds. Let's just let them have some fun and everything else. So, yeah, hopefully they will look into something like that.
Thank you very much indeed. So there you have it. Just a couple of questions that came up in this morning's part of the conference. Julie, back to you and your panel members.
Yes, Annie, to see if we can get to the bottom of some of those thorny issues, I'm joined by Julie McCarthy, who's the Chief Executive of the Army Families Federation. And Julie, the location kind of flip-flops between the UK and Germany every year, and you're here now because it is very different being a family based in Germany, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it's different for all families overseas. I mean, we saw a lot of that with a lot of the issues that were raised today, you know, specifically employment, being employed within BFG Germany as a dependent. We saw a lot of debate about the word dependent and whether people were happy, and I think that the overwhelming expression was that people weren't happy to be called a dependent. You know,
the military should be dependent on them.
Well, we are. I think the military are to a degree dependent on us. I mean, there was a great session this morning on childcare. Whether we reached any resolution this morning, we didn't get any promises, but I think Linda Fisher, the new head of Children's Services, gave a great representation of what she would like to see, and I think childcare is definitely on her radar, so we at AF will be monitoring that and pushing and giving her our thoughts and your thoughts as Army families.
So all the panellists survived their grilling, and we wait to see what progress has been made. From Hereford, from the Army Families Federation Conference 2009, back to the studio.